You've probably heard of P90X, right? That intense home workout that took over the world. But what if I told you the man behind it all, Tony Horton, once lived on scraps and slept on floors? Yeah, you might know the workout, but trust me, the story of how he built his fitness empire is even more incredible. I mean, that is just an insane contrast, right? To go from literally scraping by, eating Cheerios and yogurt just to get through the day, to building a multi-million-dollar fitness empire. So how on earth does that happen? How do you go from counting pennies for food to creating a global brand? Let's dive in and unpack this. All right, so our story doesn't start in some fancy gym. Nope. It begins with a young guy facing a mountain of challenges, way before he ever even thought about picking up a dumbbell.
It's kind of wild to think about, isn't it? The man who would become this icon of physical strength, he described himself as a 98-pound weakling. And on top of that, he had a speech impediment. Just think about the super confident, bring it coach we all know now. Wow.
And his dream? It had nothing to do with fitness. Like so many others, he packed up and moved to Los Angeles back in the early 80s with one goal: become a Hollywood actor. For him, getting in shape wasn't the goal, it was just a potential tool to help him land roles. So he gets to LA with $400, that's it, $400 to chase this massive dream in one of the most expensive cities on the planet. I mean, the odds were just completely stacked against him right from the get-go. And that gap between the dream and his actual reality, it was huge. He wanted to be a Hollywood actor, but to survive, he was working as a go-go dancer and even a street mime. Just doing whatever he could to make ends meet. He was so broke at one point, he was sleeping on a friend's floor. So yeah, clearly something had to give. And the big change came from a really simple decision, one that probably seemed small at the time, but ended up pivoting the entire direction of his life. And here's the funny part. He didn't join a gym to become a trainer. Not at all. He just figured, hey, if I bulk up a little, maybe I can land some better acting roles. It was purely a means to an end. But in that gym, he basically stumbled right into his true calling. He didn't just casually lift weights, he got obsessed. He totally immersed himself in it, studying every training method he could get his hands on. And he started experimenting, eventually creating his own unique philosophy built on two key things: variety and intensity. Remember those two ideas? Because they're going to define his entire empire. And you know what? People started to notice. The results he was getting for himself and his deep knowledge, it started turning heads. Word started spreading through Hollywood, and Tony Horton began making a name for himself, not as an actor, but as this brilliant personal trainer. And we're not talking about small-time actors here. He started training absolute music legends like Tom Petty, Billy Idol, and even the boss himself, Bruce Springsteen. He had officially become the go-to trainer for rock and roll royalty. But look, training celebrities one-on-one is great, but there's a limit to how many people you can reach. This next chapter is all about how he took that exclusive know-how and scaled it for the entire world, creating a true phenomenon. The real game changer came when he partnered up with a direct marketing company called Beachbody, and together, in 2005, they launched the program that would make him a household name, P90X. So, what was the secret sauce? It was this concept he called muscle confusion. It sounds super scientific, but the idea is actually pretty simple. By constantly switching up the workouts, mixing weight training, cardio, yoga, and these explosive movements called plyometrics, you keep your body from hitting a plateau. You keep it guessing, and that's what delivers those incredible results. The recipe for success was kind of like a perfect storm. You had this intense 90-day system, you had Tony's magnetic, charismatic coaching style, and of course, those unforgettable late-night infomercials. But the final, most important ingredient was the proof, those jaw-dropping before and after photos from real people. And the impact was just massive. I mean, across the board. P90X completely changed the home fitness industry. It sent Beachbody's revenue into the stratosphere, and it turned Tony Horton from a trainer to the stars into a global fitness icon. So when you really step back and look at it, this was never just about a workout program. It was about building an entire empire on the foundation of this unbelievable personal story. The whole career path is just breathtaking, isn't it? Early 80s, he shows up in LA with practically nothing. By the late 80s, he's a top celebrity trainer. Then, in 2005, he launches a global phenomenon with P90X, and that cements his status as a true fitness icon. And it all comes full circle, right back to where we started. The man who was once sleeping on a friend's floor became the face of a fitness empire that has pulled in hundreds of millions of dollars. It's an almost unbelievable transformation.
You know, at the end of the day, his story is just this powerful reminder that dedication can change everything. It's proof that no matter how tough your beginning is, having a clear vision and the sheer will to see it through can lead to some truly extraordinary success.
Think about it. Tony Horton found his life's purpose completely by accident, all while he was chasing a totally different dream. It really makes you stop and think, right? What passion, if you chased it with that same kind of dedication, could completely transform your life?